Hey guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're going to be doing a very early 2028 prediction, and this is kind of more of like an outlook so you guys can see where the environment is most likely heading on the electoral map and how the states are going to generally trend. Now, we are a long way away from this, but I really wanted to put out a video now and compare it to where we will be in 2028 when I do make more detailed predictions. Now, going over probably the most likely candidates, I actually do have these backwards, so I'm going to switch them. This right here on the Democrat side, it is going to be Newsom. He is probably one of the big contenders for the Democrat Party. Him or maybe Josh Shapiro. I think Josh Shapiro would actually be the stronger candidate for the Democrat Party. But I'm going to put Newsom for this video, and we don't really know much information about who will be running, but he's probably one of the top guys, him and Shapiro. And then on the Republican side, it is probably going to be Vance, especially if Trump has a good presidency. Even if Trump has like an average presidency, it's still most likely going to be Vance. I'm sure there's going to be other people that are going to challenge Vance in the primary, but especially since he is the VP, I'm sure he wants to be running. I'm sure he wants to be president for another 8 years after Trump's done. Trump could only be in office for another 4 years. So I'm sure Vance would be the person that he would end up endorsing. And if he does get in the endorsement, it'll probably be an easy win for Vance in the primaries, and he'll end up going against Newsom. But before we continue on this prediction, thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Please like my videos and put all your comments and suggestions in the section below. So let's start with the map here. The electoral map does not change. In 2032, it will change. However, Texas and Florida are definitely gaining. California and New York are probably losing. The Rust Belt's going to continue to lose, and the Sun Belt's going to continue to gain. But for the 2028 election, the map is going to look the exact same. And going over the 2024 results, it's going to give us kind of a good eye in where states are trending. Trump's going to end up winning the popular vote by around 2 points. Most of the votes are in California. Is super slow at counting, but they are finally at 90%, so it won't really change too much from that point. And checking the swing map, we can really get a good eye of how these states trended. Now, California, a lot of the counties are not done counting, so they don't have arrows. But from the ones that are done counting, Trump has been gaining in most of them. In Los Angeles County, he gained 11 points. But, the main takeaway from this map is Trump gained everywhere. Trump did gain in every single state. She did not do better than Joe Biden in any state. And because of that, it's going to be a really good indicator of what's going to happen in the next election cycle. Trump did make the biggest gains in the Democrat states that are usually considered safe, that, next time around maybe are not going to be as safe. And looking at this map over here, we can get a little bit of a more idea of the shades using my shading. As you can see, 12 points or over is safe. Likely is 5 to 12. Lean is 1 to 5. And then we have tilt, which is 0 to 1. And if you notice, there is only one tilt state on this map, and it's the state of Wisconsin. Trump won by 0.87. All the other states are lean, and the state of Arizona is likely. Arizona voted the same as how New Jersey voted for Harris, and that's a pretty crazy thing to see. If we compare, the CNN results, current results to the past elections, we can see here that if we compare them right here, if I can show you guys. So yes, if we see here the trends in every single state compared to 2020, as you can see, the states that have gained the most, that shifted the most Republican, they're pretty spread around the country, but it's mostly states that are either more populated or B, very safe in either column. So Texas, for example, shifted 8.3% to the right. Florida's at 9.7. California's at 8.7. Illinois is at 6.8. Tennessee, Mississippi, and South Carolina are also pretty high. Maryland is 6.4. New Jersey at being 10. 11 in New York. 9 in Massachusetts. 7 in Rhode Island. Keep in mind, these other shades now are still pretty high in some of these states, like Arizona's 5.8. New Mexico's 4.8, Nevada's 5.5, and then we have our lowest shade, and these states that are remaining are the states that shifted the least to the right. We have Wisconsin, Kansas, Oklahoma, Utah, and Washington that didn't really move too much. And we're going to be putting this now into our 2028 election, starting with the safer states, and these are states that are going to be 12 points or above. Now, for Newsom, he obviously is going to win California by 12 points or above, but keep in mind, Harris's home state is also California, and she performed pretty horribly. She's only up 20.5%. Joe Biden won the state by 29 points. So that right there is already a huge negative for Newsom. Is he going to gain on Kamala Harris's win? We don't know that for certain. This is kind of like a general prediction, very, very far away. And this is a prediction based off of if Trump's presidency is like average. It's not bad and it's not good. It's just average going into the 2028 map. Washington and Oregon, seeing that they still voted for Harris by pretty good margins. Trump didn't gain too much from the 2020 election. The swings in these states are not as catastrophic as the rest of the country. Both of them will still be in that safe column. Hawaii will be safe. Colorado will be going back into safe. She won it by 11.1%. It is still a left-trending state. Even though Joe Biden won it by 2 points more, I do still think that he will end up winning it by over 12 points, especially since it is a left-trending state. Illinois will not be safe. DC and Maryland will be safe since they are very, very Democrat. Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Delaware. We have the state of Vermont, Maine's 1st district. You could make an argument about the state of Connecticut being close, Delaware too, and Rhode Island. These states I think are going to be close. I'm still going to put the state of Connecticut in that safe column for him, but that's going to be it. He's going to have 130 safe electoral votes. For Vance, you have Alaska, Utah, and Utah is one of those states that trended left compared to the country. It did not really move too much. As you can see from this, there is not really any net movements in any direction. So this is the state Republicans may need to worry about in the 2030s. But the rest of these states here are all going to be in Trump's column by a safe amount. Also, Kansas is another state that Republicans probably will need to worry about in the long term. All these states up in the South are going to be safe, including Iowa and Ohio. Those states are completely out of it now. Iowa's a 13-point margin. Ohio's an 11-point margin. These are two states that trended very heavily from 2020 to 2024. Look at the state of Iowa. Despite a lot of Democrats thinking they might have a chance in Iowa, same thing with Ohio. Republicans continue to make gains in the state of Ohio and Iowa. Vance's home state is Ohio. He will definitely be pushing that state over 12 percentage points. Also, two other states that are basically gone for Democrats at this point are going to be Texas and Florida. These are going to be safe states most likely, especially the state of Florida. Both these states voted 13.8 and 13.1 percentage points to Donald Trump. Vance will definitely continue those trends, especially in Florida. And this is a state that only 4 years ago, Trump won by around 3.5. This is a 10-point swing towards the right. And in the state of Texas is around an 8-point swing to the right, maybe even a little bit more. Trump only won it by 5 points, 5.6 points in the 2020 election. And so Democrats' dreams of flipping Texas are basically gone at this point since the demographics are completely going against them. And even in the big cities, Dallas right here, Harris right here, we have, if we try to find Travis County, it's around here somewhere. Here's Travis County. They all actually moved to the right, despite what many people think. They moved to the right. Trump won Tarrant County. He came within 5 points in Harris County. Bexar County, where San Antonio is, was actually pretty close. And so I think that these two states are pretty gone for Democrats right now. But moving to the likely states, these are between 5 and 12 points. Democrats will win Illinois in New York by between 5 and 12. These states will be a lot closer going into the long run. Illinois is a state that she only won by 10, as we can see here, 10.2, 11.7 in the state of New York. These two states will be following in that likely column. For Donald Trump, for Vance, Maine's 2nd district will be going in that likely column, as well as the state of Arizona. Arizona is a state that I did not actually expect Trump to win by 5.5 percentage points. This is a pretty crazy margin going into one of the considered 7 battleground states. This time around, going into 2028, I do think that Vance will have a really, really good shot in winning this state by a likely margin. And right now, that's what I'm going to have it as. I'm going to have it as a likely margin. For Newsom's lean states, The first one will be New Mexico. Keep in mind, this is a state that really pay attention to, given that Biden won it by 11 points. Now we have Harris winning it by 6. What is going to be the margin in 2028? And right now, once again, I do not know, but it's going to be in that lean column right now going into 2028. Same thing with New Jersey. This could be the next battleground state, given that she only won it by 5.6, which is pretty much a third of what Biden won it by. Biden won it by around 16 points. This is one of the most right trending states in the country. And Democrats are really in trouble in the state of New Hampshire if they really don't start paying attention. We have Nebraska's second, which is also going to be in the lean column. This is a pretty left trending district. It did vote for her less than I thought. If we check here, it voted for her by only 4 points. Still, though, a pretty good win for her nonetheless in the second district of Nebraska. And the rest of these states are going to be the battleground states: Nevada, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Maine, and New Hampshire. But I'm going to put Maine already in the lean column because this is a pretty strong win. She won it by 7.1%, which is 2 points less than Biden. So I'm putting this right away in her column. And the rest of these states will probably be the closest states, maybe New Mexico too, but I'm not too sure. I'm putting the states of North Carolina, Georgia, and Nevada in Vance's column automatically, just because the performance in those states was pretty good. North Carolina being 3.3, Georgia being 2.2, and Nevada being 3.1. I do expect Nevada to become more Republican than North Carolina and Georgia, and probably Georgia will be the closest out of all of these Rust Belt states. Meanwhile, in the Sun Belt states, in the Rust Belt, Trump has a pretty good edge in the state of Pennsylvania in his winning by 1.8%. So this would be pretty good going now into 2028, where Vance could honestly even make gains upon that, seeing a candidate like Newsom, who is really unpopular, by the way. His approval rating nationwide is not even 30%, I believe. And Vance's approval rating has jumped all the way now to around 49%. So he would have no trouble winning all of the Rust Belt states. And right now, I would think that he would win all the Rust Belt states. And the states of Minnesota, Virginia, and New Hampshire would be the closest states, where Harris won them by 4.3, 5.6, and 2.8. And so while I do think that Vance would probably have the edge in this election, we really don't know. But in these remaining states, they're probably going to be really close. I do think that Republicans do have a good advantage in some gains in New Hampshire. Unlike what I thought, I did not actually think it was going to be 2.8%. I did not think it was going to be that close. I'm giving Newsom all these states in the tilt column, but don't be surprised in 2028 if Vance is able to flip one of these 3 states, or maybe even the state of New Mexico. But that's going to be all for today's video. Just giving you guys a nice look at what we're going to see in 4 years from now. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe, like my video, put all your comments in the section below, and I will check you guys out in the next one.